Okay, why don't you? All right, go ahead and start. I will try to fix this as we go.
Ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to fix this. I'm recording the presentation either way, so we're good.
5:30, so we'll get started. Call the meeting to order. Discussion and action of approval of minutes. Month, y'all have a copy.
I move to accept.
Your second. All in favor? Any further discussion? Approved.
I was just gonna ask about the guest and attendant. I thought I saw our Commissioner Gillespie
Last month?
last month.
You are correct.
Yes.
South on students.
She may no longer be considered a guest. She's a frequent.
Right,
I think she's
attendant.
Okay, I will add him. I will add her on there.
I don't know if that's appropriate or not. You don't have to. I just think.
No, that's fine. We can go ahead and make that change. Will we accept the minutes with the change pending? Yes? Okay. All right.
Introduction of new member.
Well, actually, no, we're going on with citizen comments, which we have none.
No comment?
No.
That's a good thing.
Okay. Library report, health services.
Good afternoon, everyone.
It's daylight.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about the month of February this year. So, if we can go to the next slide. We continued with our computer classes for adults. In February, we did class on Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and Mango languages. We did a small raffle on the class about Mango languages because I was given like a tote bag that I can share with the people, but I just didn't know how. So I told them that at the end of the class, I was gonna get everybody's name and a little piece of paper and see who would get it randomly. And so our one of our students, Mr. Jose Hernandez, won, and following week he wore it because there were even some socks in there. So he really liked it. So those are some pictures of the classes here at Maine. And at the bottom is an example of like what the class at Southmost. We also then had our fair. We finally had the Heart Matters Fair at both branches. We shared a smoothie that was made out of like avocado, blueberries, spinach, and almond milk. We invited different organizations that would appeal to the heart, physically or emotionally. And so we had doctors, clinics, adoption agencies also come to the library so that they can show their information, spread the word about who they are, and also letting them know that we know that they exist. So those are pictures here at Maine, Southmost. We had Tip of Texas, UT Health, Friendship of Women, Catholic Charities, Children's Cove. We had more than 100 people come at Maine and almost 100 people at Southmost. We had two doctors, one doctor, Dr. Miles from the Heart Institute of Brownsville come in. So Peter Aguilar from Valley Regional.
Can I interrupt on this one? It's so funny that Dr. Miles is actually my cardiologist. She didn't know about that, but what are you doing here?
You doctor, right? At the Heart Institute?
Yeah, it was actually.
Ropes?
Right, he's an understudy of Dr. Ropes.
Yes, I've seen him. He sees
I think
patients for,
Yeah,
if you go back, I think you're gonna see a picture of him.
he's a young man, right?
Go back.
no, he's at the main branch.
Yeah, the main one,
Yeah, just
right
over
there at the top corner. You can see him right next to the TV.
Oh,
And then at
Oh,
the
yes.
bottom right, square, yeah, he's right there talking to the people.
He's the understudy of Dr. Ropes.
Oh, we had James come in too. We had Orange Theory come. Brownsville on Animal Defense decided to bring in a little puppy. And they did find a home for it. We also had a movie night for the month of February. We showed Somewhere in Time. We had 60 people, about 60 people. And at the same time, we had a cooking class, but at Southmost, and they had 54. They had 50. I mean, we know February is all about the heart and everything. And so the first Friday of the month is National Wear Red Day, and that is to bring awareness of heart disease in the US. And so that's us showing our support, cooperation with the public health, because they recommended everybody in the city who works for the city to dress up in red on that day. And so some of us did. We, on the first week of February, we had Blinded with a Book. We had more than 60 people participate at both branches. That's a picture of a patron checking out a book. He's not too sure what it is, but hopefully he likes it. That too, we are trying to encourage people to check out books. And those are our two winners. We had a raffle for the adults and for teens. We're still with the puzzle of the month. Here is a patron that likes to be very consistent
every day.
And yeah, she did finish it. She also finished a one for this one. That's the one for February that she finished. And so for the month of March, this month, we're continuing with the computer classes. This is gonna be the third month of the computer class set. We're doing our candle making classes too at both branches, recipe swapping. And our movie is going to be about Cesar Chavez this month. Thank you. And
I do have a question, because I didn't see that in the calendar, the candle making. In the month of March, or is it gonna be in April?
March.
March? Oh.
Yeah, we have.
That's why, like, I would have written that one down. Okay,
I did your pen thing.
okay, I like that one.
Any other questions? Thank you. Moving on to the next one, notary services.
so that's going to be me. So this year, in February, we completed our first year of notary services. We had a total of 132 appointments. Out of those 132, 129 were completed, and we had 3 no-shows for the year. So I think for the first year that service is barely being, it was barely being promoted and whatnot, we got a good amount of numbers.
Total success.
And it's continuing. We've already done, for the month of March, we've done about 10, 12 already.
And you charge?
No, we do not charge. That's a free service to our patrons.
To have a certified person that
It's myself and my supervisor, Miss Ruth. We're both the notaries.
And let me add something just to say how wonderful staff we are. I'll be the first one to admit, Ms. Ruth first came to, she's been a notary for us for a long time, but this past a year ago, she came over and said, I want to do this one. And I'll be honest with you, I was skeptical that it was going to work. And this is why you need to empower staff to allow it. And as Ms. Peña said, successful. Sometimes you just have to trust the staff.
Right.
And this is only going to be carrying momentum. It's a free service. And so again, it's It's just it's nice when you're wrong and right.
How's voted at the counter? Is there at the service?
That's something.
In the beginning, we did have flyers that were posted at the counter. And we had posted it on Facebook and we had posted it on, but what's the other platform do we use, guys? I think it was,
Probably Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
And I know it was, a lot of it was word of mouth. And then when you would come in, there was like a whiteboard that said free notary services, which that actually brought in a lot of walk-ins as they were coming in. But a lot of the people, when we talk to them, because when we sit there, we actually talk to them while we're trying to get the process done. A lot of it was because it was word of mouth, or we sent the flyer out to several other companies like Brownsville Community Health Center, and as well as to like legal aid and whatnot. And they said that they got that information from there, that we had the free service.
And it's online.
And it's online, on our website.
That's very interesting. I'm thinking as far as foot traffic, when does it differ? When the library is being used as a polling place, right? The other times in which you have events, just trying to think of signage. That will be a wow.
Yeah, but also if you only have 2 staff members, you have to be with certain amount of time. The last thing we want to do is disappoint you. Oh, we're booked for the next 3 or 4 days. So, but since it was a pilot program.
That's where you would put by appointment.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe in the future, it could trigger some of the librarians to be Notary Public too. So it's just a matter of what the demand is. So we wanted to start slow and huge success.
Yeah.
98%, that's right.
Go online, do you list the services that you provide, or they just come and ask?
They come and ask, and only because we needed. So the type of notary services that we provide is mostly acknowledgement. It's just acknowledging that the person's saying who they are. We did have to turn a few people that came in as walk-ins. We had to turn a few people away because they wanted us to draft documents for them. And that is one thing we can't do because that requires a licensed attorney. Somebody who's certified to do those types of works. So we don't draft, nor do we make alterations to the document that's already in existence. They're signing it and we're acknowledging it, that they're signing it because they agree to all the terms and conditions in that document.
You're right. It's a very complicated issue because I know the banks do it for free as well. And I've gone and they turned me down one time. Well, wait, but you're supposed to, they really have to look at evidence and decipher if that's something that they can attest correct. You're right.
That's another reason why it's more, we prefer them to come and talk to us. While we encourage staff to learn the service, it can be a complicated, process and explanation.
And so that's.
Can you share some of the experiences, Maribel? When the patrons, are they happy with it?
A lot of patrons are happy, even the ones that we had to spin away, and we explained to them why we're able to break it down to them, and they were actually pretty happy that they're like, oh, okay, so now I know what I need to do, who I need to go to. And even then we go a step ahead if it's something that does require an attorney. We're like, well, look, I can't tell you which attorney to go to, but all these attorneys that we search for them and say, all these attorneys will take care of what you're looking for. So we try to help them out as much as we possibly can.
Great job.
It's going above and beyond.
Yeah. That's an outreach, I mean, it's community outreach. It's phenomenal.
Any questions? Any other comments or?
Questions, comments? Thank you. Youth services.
So I'm one of the youth services librarian, the one from Maine. My name is Katie Hernandez. Next slide, please. Oh.
Did I go too far back?
Okay, so just to give you a little, I guess, a recap and just to show some photos. This month we did have Kids Night. We do have it every second and third Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. This month we did do the
Little pigs.
Yes, the three little pigs. So we actually have them build little, I guess their own little houses with materials that we gave them. And then, of course, we did blow them up with, we did blow them away with an air blow dryer. So I mean, a hair dryer. So there you can see they were kind of freaking out because they didn't expect, we did give them like
A warning.
a warning. We're like, we're gonna blow this. We're gonna put air on this, so it might blow away. So, but yeah, some kids, like the little boy in red looks a little upset, but what happened, but it's very fun to watch and see them. Next slide. So this month we did start having bouncing babies, so I know that was something that I believe we used to have.
Correct.
So pretty much from ages 0 to 12 months. I know the girls specialize more on like focusing on them, like, you know, to read, to kind of do a lot of hand gestures, like just a little bit more sensory time with them, since they would come to a regular story time that, but since sometimes they would just be sitting there, like they wouldn't, they would just, the parents would just have them sitting there. So we'd like to have them, you know, do a little bit more of sensory time.
What are the ages?
0 to 12 months.
0 to 12 months.
Because the toddler, or I mean, it could even be up to 18 months, but because we do have story time for toddlers, or you know, up to 6, age 6, but they're a little bit more, you know, where the craft that we give them is a little bit more for them to, you know, cut and do on their own. But for them, it's more of like reading, you know, dancing and just sensory activities that, you know.
Gross and fine
Yeah.
motor. And do you speak English to them or Spanish?
Right now we're speaking to them in English. I guess that's something that we can include in that. Especially, I think it's also the staff, because some of them are better, yeah, some are good in Spanish, but yeah, so we got pretty much what it is, it's an hour before regular story time. So Maine is 10 to 11 and Southmost is 5 to 6. So, and then we have the regular story time, which is for the older group. But we here at Maine, at least, we do see, I need to take some pictures, but we have maybe like 5 babies right now that I've seen for this month of March. I mean, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes,
Yes, March. So next month we'll see how.
But that's incredible.
Yes.
That's early childhood, you
Yes.
know, and it's fast and they're babies, they're
Yeah.
sponges.
Good. Okay. And then this one is just more of a fun day. I know for summer, we're trying to incorporate, I don't know, a way to use Lego days, but for now, every first and fourth Friday of the month, we do have Lego days. So we have those big ones that kids, you know, just come out, we just lay them out and then they play and they interact with each other. So it's actually very fun because I know, especially now with COVID, it's a little scary, but kids are now, you know, getting to socialize a little bit more. So in a way, that's how we're, you know, that's a benefit that we're using with that.
Maybe for the summer, I know I've seen they have like a monthly Lego challenge calendar. That could give you ideas, and it has like a daily
Yeah,
thing to do with Legos.
Okay.
Because they just like to play all the
Yeah.
time, but I mean, you could also do like STEM activities with the
Yeah.
Legos, like you did for the little pigs.
And do you give them a challenge, whoever makes the castle for, I'm making that up, I don't even know.
yeah, right now it's just, I guess,
Oh.
free play,
Free play.
but
Okay.
that's what we were talking about, me and from Southmost, that we need to come up with a more, I guess, with Legos, but you know.
Well,
we love
so
Legos.
that they have a different challenge
Yes.
every time they come.
So we'll look into it. Next slide. Oh, sorry. So on March, I just realized that. On March 15, 6 to 8, Southmost is gonna have, I guess,
A kickoff.
it's a kickoff, sorry, yeah. It's a partnership with the Texas Children's and Nature Network, Driscoll Health Fund. And they pretty much what they are doing, they gave us some backpacks that include 6 themes or 10 different themes that include books, guides, and nature tools. And they're gonna be available to check out for 2 weeks. So that's gonna start on March 15, and Southmost is gonna have an event over there, which they're gonna have other table organizations and a quick presentation from the Driscoll Health Plan. So that's something that's so start on that day. It is gonna be on, we're gonna start checking them out at that, I guess, during the event. If right now it is only Southmost, but if anybody is interested here at Maine, we're just gonna go ahead and bring them over to Maine and they can check them out. And then,
How many backpacks are available?
I believe it's six.
six different nature themes. And next slide, and then our big event that we're gonna have in March is gonna be the extravaganza. So here, I'm sorry, at Southmost, we're gonna have it on March 21st, and then at Maine the next following Tuesday. And then same thing as we did for Santa, we're gonna have the sensory friendly hour. So no music, you know, it's a little bit more comfortable for patrons and families that have special sensory needs. So we're gonna do that for the next, which is on the 22nd and the 29th for each branch. Next slide.
Any
Any
questions?
questions?
And let me just add, that this is extra stuff besides the normal day operation. As you see, you come in, there are people doing the stuff. This is just extra besides the foundation. And that's something that I was talking to B about, that we're always gonna have books to check out. We're always gonna have certain things. This is just extra. And what can we do to remain relevant? And this is what we do to remain relevant. We want to do quality over quantity. So far, the programs are awesome. But if we think that a program didn't work out, so at least we tried it and we move on and try something else. Obviously, your input helps. But again, this is besides the normal operations. Just a reminder for the board.
Are there any questionnaires after these events?
I know we did one last year, but we haven't done one this year. We probably need.
And just like maybe a quick survey, either before or after, as far as library card,
Mhm.
taking an opportunity there for they're interested in the event, but maybe they're walking in and for the event and not necessarily walking in because their intention was to go to the library and check out a book.
Yeah, surveys are very good and they're very easy to create like SurveyMonkey, but we need to make sure that we need to have input, we need to be available for input and not think that we know it all. And so that's something that we can definitely do to have some insight and improve from that.
You know, Mr. Guerra, I have a comment. Libraries, like the newspapers, have become slowly on the downside and obsolete. Because we have the internet, because we have, you know, to the moment news, it could be happening and that second, everybody in the world knows it's several seconds later. You have done something with this calendar, Mr. Guerra, of activities and the employees that you have that has opened the doors so that others know that it's not just about reading a book, it's becoming connected with the fiction and nonfiction and the, you know, just the stories itself that the books contain. And activities like this brings the community here to you. You're very aggressive, very proactive. And I think that next time, ladies, if you have an activity, invite a city leader, maybe the Channel 4, Channel 5, you know, I'm retired. It's been 3-4 years. And I watch the 12 o'clock news because I'm cooking or, you know, somebody comes over to eat because they think you do nothing and you cook now, right? So I watch they have community news and they say there's a play in this school and there's a parade in that town, or there's a rummage sale in that organization. And it opens the doors for others to know. So, because I'm sure that you have your faithful customers that come every time you have a beautiful activity, but we want to open the doors. So invite Channel 4, Channel 5, the radio station that, what do they call them, PSAs?
Okay, Pennsylvania manages the one that's there at
See,
Star National.
she even knows who to contact, because something wonderful is happening here. And, you know, it's been my third meeting, and wow, I'm blown away. I didn't even know that you did some of the stuff here. It's too good to keep just to ourselves.
A secret.
We gotta.
Yeah,
We gotta
that's
tell
that's something that
everybody.
maybe like we can do that, like for a summer reading program, we can already start thinking about it, and then like the Marvel character coming over, maybe we can do we can contact them, and
I can ask April as far as what's on the calendar as far as a podcast, and you can have either yourself or one of your staff members, community outreach, speak.
yeah, that would be great.
And then that would be something
Yeah,
definitely.
we have Miss Taylor, who she's out today, but
I'm not certain if you're familiar with W.L. Strong, and he's the one.
No, but-
that- Yeah.
And I think that's a better idea to do it for like the summer reading program, because I'm sure y'all already get plenty for like the Easter Bunny events, like because people want to come to the Easter Bunny. But like for the summer reading one, I feel like it's still fun, but it's also like towards the main, not the main goal of the library, but towards people getting library cards and
Mhm.
reading.
correct.
So that'd probably be a better one.
Especially because obviously the summer reading program goes out.
Yeah.
How many parents actually encourage kids to read? So that's the main goal, to do it. So why not make a big deal of it, Thank you.
Thank you for that report. Any other questions, any other comments? Okay, moving on to teen services.
Hi, my name is Sarina Garcia. I'm librarian here that's focused on teens. The first activity that we have for the month of February was blind date with a book teens edition. For this one, we have 39 teens in both branches checking out books and reading them, and those were our winners. That one, the last one at Salmos and the other one at Maine. We also have like teen night, we made diamond painting. This was a very popular activity. They really enjoy it. You can see the faces of them having fun. And this was very popular as well. They keep asking me about a new one. So we have that on mind as well. We also have our regular teen anime club. For this one, we have Japanese chocolate tasting, and we saw a movie. They really like the chocolate. They were very excited about trying new things. And the feedback that I get that the Japanese chocolate is less sweet than the American one, and they taste similar like Hershey's. And they love it. They really love the movie, and they really love to try new things. Their teens. And then we have our teen advisory group at Salmos. We have last one here at Maine. At Maine, we had 16. At Salmos, we just have 2 teens. But they have so much fun. We make a STEM activity. Normally, I make like a STEM activity with them, and then I talk to them about the library services that we have for them. And then I give them a survey, and I talk to them about what they want to see. It's more like I sit to talk to them. And I was so happy. At the beginning, I was just 2, but then Brianna, that she's there, she gave me a good idea to make like a bulletin for teens, like a newsletter. So from this month and the next month, I will making like a little flyer for them with all the activities in the library that they will like, and as well explaining what everything is. And as well, I will feature one of our database, but for them. Like the one that we have like offered tutoring, also on Hoopla, that they can see like movies and stuff. So I will feature one database once a month for them. And then that was on February 13th, and today is March 13th. She bring to the library at least 16 new teens. Thank that day. 16 year
The power of a word,
That was on Thursday. On Friday, she went like with 5 friends from the neighborhood to play in the Lego day. The Lego day was fuller still. Then she came to the Teen Anime Club with 4 or 5 new ones. We have as well the Teen Game Night. I have 18 teens. A lot of them, she bring them in. And you know what?
The word of mouth.
And I was able to talk to all of them because as soon as I saw her, I said, hi, Brianna, I made a newsletter for you. And I start to talk to all of them. I give them flyers. I explain all my activities. And I'm hoping for next one over there will be on May. I hope I get like 8 or 10 teens, but she's bringing a lot of things in like tossing.
Oh, I'll pitch in chocolate. The real chocolate.
So helpful, and I was so happy that she enjoyed it. She told me she had so much fun. They went into the library. They didn't went especially for the teen advisory group, but as soon as I saw a teen in my library, I need to go to talk to them. So I go to talk to them and I invite them. And the activity was supposed to be at 6, but they tell me we need to leave at 7. So I said, okay, for y'all, I'm gonna start at 5:30. So if we get more teens, then we make another round of stuff. And then I made the activity more early for them. And they stay with me until 7 something. They didn't want to leave. So as science on, every week she bring me like 4 or teens. Yes. All of them, I give them even like extra craft that I have, I engage them to stay in the library. I engage them to visit us. I told them all about my activities. I told them, I promise you're gonna have fun. Just look at me if you have any question. I normally just ask for signing in. I will be here for helping whatever you need. And I think I'm being successful with talking to them, and I'm so happy about that. Coming soon, I'm working for May with a collaboration with Tu Salud Si Cuenta to bring a yoga workshop to the library for the end of the May. Now that is coming the summer and stuff, so they can have some relaxation. And then finally, the collaboration with the Workforce Cameron County, half a day, the job fair gonna be May the 4th, and gonna be focused on, it's the perfect opportunity for young adults 16 plus and adults to find an entry-level job. We're gonna have over 15 employers present that day. So that's already half a day, and they're gonna be here in the main branch. And then for the Southmost branch, we're gonna have on April 27, a bus from the workforce so they can print resumes, they can work on resumes over there. So I have something for both branches. But here we're gonna have the job fair to see how it goes, and if it's a success, maybe we can work something for Southmost as well. And then thank you for your time. Any questions?
One of the things I want to add, the hardest age group to
I was gonna
attract
say,
is
I
the
commend you
teens. And
to attract that
Yeah.
group, because usually, the little ones,
Yeah.
their parents bring them in.
Yeah.
But those teenagers, right, are
Yeah.
all of on their phones or their game system or just out and about doing, I don't know what, but the last thing they think about is the library.
But
you
she's the director now. She has now that he was playing by herself. So now
So I want to add that the total for this month was 92 teams between all these activities. And I was surprised that for March, I will talk next one, I have 18 teams just for board games and Nintendo Switch at Southmost. And I have a lot of parents that take them. So I talked to the parents as well. I was promoting the team lock-in, they will be safe here. We normally watch at this. So I talked to the parents as well, because they are important too in the teens coming to the library.
Comment. I've had my students work through their applied text essays, and one of the essays, topic C, asks students if, they were given a ticket to go anywhere, where would they go? And interesting enough, quite a few of my students mentioned Japan and Korea, and I think it's the interest to K-pop. Do you get any of that as far as, you made mention as far as Japan or the Japanese chocolate? Is there any talk about their interests having to do with?
Not yet, but for June, we are planning, because normally we did Teen Anime Club, and I try to bring a lot of, one day I make a Japanese candy tasting, other month we made like a Japanese snack tasting. This one, February was like February, we made like the chocolate Japanese tasting, but then on summer, we're gonna have the theme gonna be around the world. So we're gonna have these like four activities that gonna be around the world. One of the months will be Japan, and we're gonna be something different. We are planning to make like a make cafe, like they can come and taste and learn more about how the things there are, and then take pictures of different stuff. So we are working on that, something more like cultural than the anime, something more like they can like really know about the culture of Japan.
Many of them don't travel. And so to read what they don't know and make a multi-paragraph essay, you know, they won me over with their creativity. And so I'm just wondering if we can just tap into that or make them more curious, pique that curiosity. So that's good to know that.
Yes, we're thinking on that already. And I noticed when I bring the Japanese candy tasting, they were all excited, even the parents. I have some parents that came with the kids and the teens, especially at Samos. They were having a lot of fun. They were trying. They would tell me, we like this, we don't like this, what this tastes like, this needs salsa Valentina. So it was funny to see how like correlate something that is from other places.
Exactly, making that connection.
But that's great that you're offering that opportunity for them to
try new things.
memories.
And they love it. Those are the favorite activities that they have. We all like to eat.
Teaching as far as making connections, text to text, text to self, and then there's text to the world, incorporating that, and that just gets them.
We open a world for them beside the books and what we have in the library.
Beautiful, thank you.
Any other questions?
No, whatever you're doing, just continue. Because you're inviting, they're staying with you. She just mentioned, the age group is tough. I was a high school principal.
But I'm so happy. I was telling to her that I start everything on August, and I told her my first activity, I just have 4 people, 1 team maybe, and then the least that I get in my activity is 18. That's the least that I have in one of my activities. So I'm so happy of the progress, and I hope it's get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I hope one day
you have program. You grew the program. Good for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Makerspace.
That would be me. I'm stepping in for Anthony. I look like Anthony. My name is Josie. I'm the branch manager here at Maine. Can you go to the next slide? So there's a lot of things happening out here with Makerspace. One of the things that they were doing is they celebrated the Pokemon Day, and they were all making their own Pokemon on a mini canvas. It was such a big number, which I don't have, but it got so much that we actually ran out of supplies. And this was at both branches, but everybody was just so happy to make their own Pokemon that the staff went ahead and they pivoted, and they gave them like some paper, and they started still designing their Pokemon. And I want to say they probably had like 80 or 90 people, I think, here at Maine, and I think Southmost was probably 70 something. Okay, it's a big number. They were just telling us that it was a huge hit, so that's something that we're going to be bringing back because they all wanted to do that at both branches. They also had our sublimation printer. So that was one of the things that they're doing, that they are showcasing the different equipment that we have and giving them like a lesson so that we can kind of advertise. And this one was purchased through the T-Slack. And so for this one, we had purchased some mugs, and Anthony and Lázaro were giving them lessons on how to get their image onto their image, their cup, but they were also showcasing that it doesn't have to be just a cup. It could be a variation of different things that they were going to do.
Just for information, T-Slack is the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, which we are bound to provide a certain amount of services and provide a certain amount of funding. So it's that we got a grant, and so we have to submit reporting for that. And with this grant, we were able to buy this equipment.
It's neat, like the one picture on the bottom, that one lady, she was our word of mouth. She went out and she started telling everybody else about it. So she's been coming back. Go to the next slide. This was a future event. It's kind of like STEAM. No too much about it other than just what it says that they wanted to do.
You give them a certain amount of spaghetti.
Yes.
And then like either tape, a certain strip tape or glue, and then they have to create the tallest spaghetti tower and for it to stand
Without
up
falling.
Well,
for a certain
so
time.
that's coming at the end of the month.
That one really
They're
gets
gonna be
intense.
doing the competitive side. So we'll see. I know that they've just been advertising and passing it out. So we're really hoping to get a nice big crowd for it. Makerspace, it's just been, once it's opened up, it just kind of skyrocketed. Yes, our new equipment. After this, you guys can walk into Makerspace and check it out. That one just came in. That was also purchased through the TSLAC as well. And that's basically a big poster printer. And so they're gonna be doing their first demo in April. I know we're still waiting on I don't know if it was ink or paper or something, both of them. So that's coming in. And so that's kind of why we pushed it for next month to go ahead and showcase. And that'll give both Anthony and Lassero a chance to kind of practice and get that going. But that'll be another new thing that we're gonna be able to give to our patrons, a new service.
I've told everybody.
Yeah.
Bring your T-shirts and your vinyl and
Thank you. We appreciate that.
but they won't do it for you. You just get along.
We're gonna teach you guys.
They'll teach you, then you're on your own.
Yes. And then, so these are some of the other things that they've been doing. They continue. We've been getting more people coming in, wanting to do basically what you said, doing the heat press, using the Cricut. I know, that's, my gosh, I forgot her name. Is it Amanda on the left?
That's Amanda.
Amanda, she's our frequent user. And so she's always coming up with different ideas. And so we see her and all, she's just like, just open up the room. I'm good to go. She knows how to use everything. And then we've also been getting a lot of interest on the other machine, oh my gosh, I already.
The Glowforge, the laser engraver.
So that's been a big hit as well.
And we also purchased 3D printers.
Like portable 3D printers. We've got one at each of the branches and then a spare one that's gonna be going with us to outreach so that we can showcase that. And that one's supposed to be more user-friendly, where if the patron comes in with their the design on the USB, they can just insert it and they can kind of just do it themselves. That one's a nice one.
And let me add, as I seem to be a pattern of me adding more to it. Even as simple as even when you come in or when you leave right now, you're gonna see that the makerspace room before was just a blank door with just wood. We removed it. We had the internal services cut it out and put in glass that way. We can see into it so they can see activity, and even with the friends used to just have the sign, but the door was all brown. People couldn't look inside. So now we invested some time and money to cut the door instead of putting a glass door because it costs more money. We just the same door, we cut it and put some glass, and that way it's basically you can see inside. It's merchandising. So simple things like that. It doesn't cost a lot of money and it's a lot of thought, but it goes a long way. So that's part of it. So it also feels that it's open even if it's closed. That invites people there. And you can see the doors as you leave. And it actually kind of looks nice.
It does look nice.
It looks nice.
Thank you for that report.
One is, so that I can get this to go.
Outreach.
Final.
All right, so Miss Courtney is out. She's our outreach coordinator, so I'm gonna speak on her behalf. So starting first with the 2023 Spring Career and Technical Education Advisory Board for PISD, Sarina and Katie toured the CTE Certification Center, and they were discussing ways they can facilitate collaboration with the program. So between us and them. Right, and they took time to, of course, look at their makerspace and their library to see how we're comparing to the other two schools that are trying to get into the program as well, right?
That the district, is that a school building?
That's coming.
That's coming to build still, yeah.
It's dedicated to technical education.
Yes,
The classroom.
and even they outreach to 5 specific people, but they did get to see about 100 people in total there at that event. Next place we went to, as soon as I could get this to work again.
And what hours was that held?
I'm sorry, hold up, let me. Saturday, what hours did we go to?
5 to 7.
That's good.
What is going on? Stop. Sorry, guys, technical difficulties. It wouldn't be without the technical. There you go. Really? Stop. So the next thing we did, we went to the zoo and we did Wild Tales with Glasgow Zoo, and that was Katie, Nicole, Lizette, and Harry. And they promoted literacy with citizens, visiting different volunteer booths and reading events. And they got to see about 655 people at this event. Katie, do you have anything you want to share about it?
It was cold. No, but it was very fun. We did get to see a lot of, I guess, regular people, and then we did get to see, I think our main one was we noticed a lot of patrons were not from Brownsville. So we were able to, let them know about our services, and they were very interested, especially in our 3D prints, because we're always promoting them. But yeah, it was very cool. We did see a lot.
All right, now the next place we went to visit, and we're gonna start visiting more often is B Metro. We went 2 times this past month. And we got to see about 134 people there, and that's more so we can get to know our patrons. And then we went even later in the day, so we got to see patrons that were coming back from school, coming back from work, going home. So we got to interact with a whole bunch of different people at that visit.
And again, just a reminder on the B Metro, there's actually 3 routes that come to our libraries. 2 at Southmost, 1 from the Southmost Boulevard, and then the Manzano side, there's another route called Estancia. So there's 2 ways to get into Southmost, even though Southmost is more of a hybrid between walking community and driving community. And of course, at Main, we have the main artery.
Central and Jefferson.
Central, which is route number 2. So it's very important that people know, it's easier to get there,
The next place we were invited to was the DISD Migrant Family Meeting. We got to see about 121 people there, and during there we got to speak to parents, and they were also offering free haircuts for the kids, not us, but they were. Because we don't have barbers here, even though we probably have some talented people. But it was Jose Gonzalez, Michelle, and Maria Can. They got to speak with them and give them some more information about the library. We were also invited to Gonzalez Elementary Career Day. As you can see, Katie is in the picture there. She got to talk to students about being a librarian and how to finish their career to become a librarian. We also had a Miss Lisbeth, which is one of our newer employees at the Southmost branch who attended as well. And she got to tell them like all the special events and what they could do at the library, the day-to-day events and goings of the library. We also got to visit Miss Mijardin Adult Daycare. It's part of our adult daycare program that we're trying to build on, where we're going out and visiting. Mr. Gonzalez got to visit them during all the festivities of Charros Days, right? And he was able to do crafts with them and just celebrate with them and share that type of experience with them. And then we did some in-reaching. So here at the library, as Ms. Bertha spoke earlier, we had the Heart Manners event. While during that event, we also had tables 2 here and 1 at Southmost that displayed all the stuff that we do here. And so we could get some library cards, give out some information, answer more specific questions if they had any questions about databases or anything that we can do to help them out. And that was it.
And here I am again. I don't even notice that she mentioned different staff members, and what we're trying to do is integrate everybody so that way they're aware that it's just not a librarian doing the programming. Everybody's involved in the outreach, so they can have buy-in into what we have going on. And for the most part, they're not voluntold. They're volunteer. They like to be outreach besides just a normal day-to-day operation. They like to go out there and so.
It's them out of the library.
Huh?
It's them out of the library.
Yeah, so that's something that it's done strategically. So staff are buying, they cannot say, I was not aware of it, because we're a firm believer that whoever a patron goes to, we should have a little bit of familiarity as to, sort of like when you go to a restaurant and you ask, how the chile relleno, the waitress, I don't know. That's the same thing here. We need to gotta make sure, well, that's the intent, that our staff is aware of what's going on, even myself. So that's the intent. It's done with a purpose for staff to do that. And it's not a coincidence that it's been successful.
At the end.
Well, any questions on the outreach?
On the outreach or?
I just want to add, like Ms. Peña said earlier, that y'all are doing a fantastic job in all your different areas, your different departments, and And it's good that all of you know about everybody else's department, so that when you're asked by the patrons, you have an answer for them, because sometimes you go into places, you go into stores and they'll tell you right away, no, I don't know, that's not my department, you know? And I'm sure some of you have gotten that answer, and all of you are knowledgeable in each other's department, or at least you have general knowledge of it to say, this is what I know that they do in that department. And so y'all are working very hard, and just keep up the good work.
I have a couple of things.
I'm sorry. I have a question. Do the other city departments, groups, organizations, do they have this type of outreach? Because I don't know what.
Parks, for the most part, parks and libraries are usually the ones that are more involved, but it's a little bit different. I want to work with parks more, but maybe health department, because we're the more outgoing to the public, face of the public, but again, every department has.
Inspired to say something that you already know this, Parks has puppets.
Yes, Parks.
I work with Parks with I'm on the Pacific de la Cycles. I work with Parks Department.
Yeah, so they're also very involved, so we try to work together.
The role of the librarian back when snakes walked, when I was. You know, it was, they went to school to shush us. And they knew the Dewey Decimal System, and you know, that was a foreign language to all of us.
Your role has evolved.
Yeah.
You are more, you have to be more charismatic and more involved in contacting others to know about, you know, the beauty of a library. So great job. I mean, I don't know if other people do this, but this is the model.
I mean, when I went to graduate school studying for library science, that was a constant, to be relevant, to be credible, to be worthy. And it was community oriented. And every time I walk in, it's there, it's noted. Even stepping out into the community, it's there, it's noted. Thank you.
And that's the first thing I told her when I met her this morning. What do you think a librarian's duty should be? And I don't even want to say. No pressure.
We're on the spot.
Yeah.
Got everything I mentioned.
But what I said was, you know, the reading, the fighting, and looking for books, that's fundamental. What can you do above and beyond to be relevant? And remember, I said that word. So that's what it's all about. You know, I'm still a librarian. I was my title director, but I'm still a librarian, and we have to be relevant. Because we don't have a captured audience. Unlike others, like a school librarian, we need to be out there so people can come in, because they don't have to be. They want to be here. And that's our goal. Mr. Pineda.
Just a couple of things. Speaking of community, sometimes I have friends of friends, you know, I'm on the board, I'll get like these suggestions. So like, so just two suggestions. This is from a friend of a friend. They mentioned their women's restroom was dirty. I don't know the situation in the women's restroom, but someone did ask me to say that. And they don't know.
And for that one, I have an answer, but next.
Okay, the other thing, just to put that out there, the other one was, someone sent me an article about a program in Denmark called the Human Library. If anyone's ever heard of that. I guess the idea is, I'm just gonna read this little passage. It's libraries where you can borrow a purse instead of a book to listen to the life story for 30 minutes.
Yep.
So the goal is to fight prejudice. Each person has a title like unemployed, a refugee, a bipolar, etc. But listening to their story, you realize how much you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. And so this is a project active in, I guess, different European countries called the Human Library.
Yes.
Want me to pass it on?
The first one,
Yes, sir.
the one that stinks the most. As you know, besides the day-to-day operations, and besides our duty that we have to do, we do have called a work plan. And a work plan, we do something that is extraordinary. Last year, we put new signs and all that. Well, the library is our building, but we don't take care of it ourselves. We have an internal services department, the one that did the doors. And in their work plan is to fix the restroom. That's the biggest issue, and there's nothing we can do about it, because when the library was built in 1994, the main artery, it was an iron pipe of the stick. Well, what happens with iron? It rots, and it's actually collapsed. So there's a major funding that's coming to basically put the new piping, and so therefore literally when 2 or 3 people flush at the same time, it clogs up. So that's the stage, if you will. We're aware of it. City administration is aware of it, and so we are gonna be fixing it. So that's it's in the main. So we're aware of it. It's in fact, we're even to the point that we want to put doors, because when we're having the meeting room, when it flushes, you can hear it over here. And so we're working on that, without affecting ADA and without affecting, but we are working on that. So I hope that answers your question. We're aware of it. That's not a surprise. The other one, we started working, it's called Check Out a Librarian, but we are working on a social librarian, and we're either we're gonna reclassify or have a checkout for that. We're working on it, but we have to look at all the logistics of it, legal part of it. You know, we need to make sure whatever decision we do, if we do it, are we liable for something? Because what happens if there's some negative interaction? But we are aware of it. We start with the checkout a librarian, but we were considering having a specialized librarian for social services. And so that's something that's in the making. It's just a matter of strategic, because we have a certain amount of staff, and what worked before now, you know, we have self-checkout, so maybe we reclassify certain positions to modernize, like the Miss Courtney Taylor, that position was not created, was not part of the original budget. We created it. You know, assistant library branch managers, we created, there was no library branch manager, so things like that. So we're trying to evolve within our budget to see out there. And one of the things, a social librarian or check out a librarian or something like that. So I've heard that, I've seen that article before, and we're working on that. But as everything else, it takes time, but we are working on that. I think we do need it for the homeless issue that we have, for the what is it, alcohol, but you know, dependency on drugs and all that. Sometimes we just need to be heard, you know, and so as a patron, there's a lot of, we have several homeless, so we need to hear them. There's a long time ago, we had a homeless person, and he would always come in and read, but the perception was that he stayed, and he was a valuable patron. Just fortunate that he didn't have a home. He didn't cause any issues. He came in, did about, came about and just read in magazines. So, but we need to be there for them, yes. So we're working on that issue.
On this issue, I don't mean to hold things up, but do the unaccompanied minors still come here as a group occasionally? I know they put them, they have different field trips around the.
Unaccompanied minors, we have okay, hopefully I'm not confused, been a long day.
Unaccompanied minors meaning they're like in the shelters, and sometimes I remember.
Like Southwest, yeah, we do have those two.
Yeah, so we went recently, because I know there's different shelters in Brownsville, and we were trying to look at a program because we have a team. Trying to look up programs for teens. The idea is, it's almost like this human library, but the idea is teens talking to teens, because they go in different groups and field trips. And so we actually was at a church yesterday, just trying to help out, and really there's kids, you know, who just would like to talk to other kids, practice their English even sometimes.
Correct.
And, well, our kids need to practice their Spanish. So anyway, there's something we're looking into. I didn't know if they were still, they do come here, but it sounds like. Maybe
The Southwest, yeah,
Southwest, they do.
Southwest Keys.
That's one of them. There's Southwest Key and there's some other.
I don't know the other one, but yeah.
Yeah.
Another initials, I think
Right.
ACT or something. I don't know what the initials are, but yeah, we do tours.
In some February.
Yeah.
3 Southwest groups, and then we have one from Los Fresnos that they will as well.
And they-
And the Southwest.
And they do attend, sometimes they bring them for events. So they're here, but you can't see them because they don't allow pictures.
Right.
So they'll be here and, you know, they'll.
Yeah, they're very
they'll-
unique situation.
Kind of, I know that
Yeah.
they have staff people
kind of Too, so we, of course, we don't, I guess.
interact with them maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Those are good questions, by the way. And that's, we are working on them. Again, as soon as we fix the restaurants, you will know.
Thank you.
One more question. Do you like this concept still, as far as the way we report it? Is there any changes you would like? Okay. We're here to help. We're here to put together.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
And thank you for being attentive.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't want to put you- think we must.
Yes. I have